Hello. I am outside, so I'm hoping that the wind isn't too intense and interfering with the audio. But we shall see. Okay, so this transmission really feels like it's going to be if you want to call it like a divine union template check-in sort of realm. I just looked up the clouds and I saw a J, and a T, and I heard C, and I'm seeing a 3, and an L, an S, and a 7. Interesting. And WM. There are lots of boats going by, so you might hear that in the background. I hope you can just take it as white noise. And I just looked over and saw this real big lizard iguana just making its way to the edge to get some sun. This is like the second or third big iguana I've seen today, and there have been so many little lizards. I'm in Florida, so it's common, but today in particular has just been so many of them. So iguanas, lizards, the reptilian brain. As I was just swimming, I had really been getting the urge, I just felt like my body just needed swimming, and sure enough, I just got this pet sit kind of rolled in, and they have a pool, and I was like, yes, I get to swim. So something like that could be coming up. Maybe there's just something that your body or something you really want to experience, and that might be showing up for you, or it just did. And it really was not I didn't seek it out at all. I just had that feeling, and then it happened. So this feels very effortless. You don't it's just gonna kind of show up for you, or it just did. But it definitely feels related to the body in some way, or physical, tangible senses type of thing. And so while I was swimming, I was just obviously looking around, and I saw in the clouds this being. It seemed almost like a little boy, but of course clouds continually shift, and it looked like it was laying on its stomach with wings coming out of its back, almost blowing a kiss, but with its hand spread out in front of its face. And there was it looked like a fish that was jumping out of water, giving it a kiss. And it's so funny because it looked like the fish had a stream of water, in cartoons when a fish jumps up and you can see the trail of water. I think that's a thing. And the song from Lana Del Rey, I actually don't know what it's called, but the lyric, I've got my eye on you, say yes to heaven, say yes to me, literally just keeps repeating in my head over and over again. I'm just going to sit with that for a moment. I've been feeling the collective that I tune into expanding, which is really exciting. And this idea that often comes up about divine template divine templates of like union or any other phrase that you would like to incorporate. I've been meeting more people that feel like they're in this sort of more divinely orchestrated, higher heart type of connection, I would say over the last 6 months. And yeah, like physically meeting people. And something that I wanted to just say, you know, whether you are someone who is in that type of dynamic, like physicalized, like in your mostly your everyday life, or you're someone who is just feeling that energetically and astrally, signs and synchronicities. Maybe you're somewhere in the middle where this person, and or if it's not a person, this embodiment is showing up in your life more often, but not maybe like on a daily basis. Yeah, so this is really for wherever you are is perfect type of thing. And I kept seeing images of a rhino, and I will get back to the symbolism of a lizard. I haven't gotten like I just heard like scaly skin. I wonder what that's about. Yeah. Oh, now there's 2 iguanas hanging out together. They're like side by side. Oh my god, they're so cute, and they're just sunbathing. Ugh, that's like, I'm sunbathing as well, and it's funny now that there's 2. Like, one's just staring at me. It just looked at me like, I see you looking at me. Yeah, I see you too. And they're just like, they look in perfect unison right now, just looking at the sun. It reminds me of like just finding out about lemurs and how they love to sun gaze like so much that they'll like, I just talked about this in a different transmission, they'll like fight for the sunlight essentially. If like one lemur has more sunlight, another one wants it, they'll just like go up and push it out of the way, apparently. I don't know why that's coming up. Maybe you have like some sort of dynamic like that with someone, like you get to like play fight. And it's so funny because the movie Love and Basketball I hadn't seen in years, and I thought of it recently. I was like, I feel like watching Love and Basketball. And like somehow I was staying at my friend's place, and I've been staying with her off and on for like a year, and I never realized that she had this like other like Roku thing in her TV. I don't really know much about that. I don't know, but I just like clicked on it, and like, I shit you not, I can keep saying that expression today, and I don't usually say that, so maybe someone here says that expression, or you know someone who does, because yeah, it's literally come through like 3 times already today. I was able to watch like free movies, and one of the first suggestions was Love and Basketball, and I was like, oh my god. So of course I turned it on, and it just reminded me of like, I don't know, that like childlike horseplay type of thing where like, so there could be that type of dynamic coming through. It doesn't have to be, of course. You know, sometimes in like fairy tales there's like so much like a romance and drama, and it's all like proper or something, but this feels a little bit more like there's that inner child playfulness, maybe some like banter, yeah, like mental stimulation and appreciation I'm hearing. Anyway, so I kept seeing rhino images. I'm really drawn to these iguanas again. I hope they're iguanas, that's what I'm calling them. I actually had an iguana when I was a kid named Iggy. I don't know why that's coming through. We gave him away to my older sister and brother-in-law's friend, who called himself Rito, like Doritos. Oh, so maybe like a funny nickname can be relevant. Anyway, maybe someone likes Doritos, but yeah, I'm seeing like those sticky, you know, when you eat Doritos, well, maybe you've seen it, and they're like, get all the orange like cheese powder that's coming through. Yeah, like I feel really silly, but anyway, the rhino. So whenever I think of the rhino, and that's been coming through a lot this week, I think of like overcoming obstacles. So it feels like, again, no matter where you are in this scenario, there feels like maybe some irritations, some obstacles to work through, I'm hearing to glide through. yeah, like just maybe some irritants or like ripples of old patterns that you maybe thought you worked through, maybe like kind of resurfacing a little bit. It doesn't feel like, you know, diving completely back into the depths. It's more like, all right, here's this again, like what's going on? So there may be like a call for, I don't know, like some sort of isolation or like feeling like you need space. And again, if this is like more energetically, a butterfly is literally flying around me just as I said that. Like if you're not in a physical, this could just be like how you've been feeling in general. Yeah. I just heard in my head, like, take all the time you need. Yeah, so there's something about not rushing it and continuing to just feel. If the irritants are coming up or, yeah, like any frustration or, like, you know, classic wounds that have been coming up a lot, like any type of abandonment, rejection. I don't really feel the call to, like, go too deep into that for some reason. But if anyone, like, has a specific thing that they want to address or, like, hear about, please feel free to like share that and then I can. But yeah, for some reason I'm not being called to like go into too much specifics on that. Okay, so the iguana just started to move a little bit. So yeah, it feels like I'm seeing like Knight of Pentacles, like slow and steady movement. And the phrase slow burn has been coming through this week or the last few days. Yeah, so there's something about that, like slow burn energy. I'm hearing something about like looking back on whenever you feel like this experience started for you, and like the cycles within cycles. So there could be something about that. A phrase that came through earlier was pearlescent presence. And I was seeing it intertwined with this like white golden frequency and then like the heliotalic pastel rainbow spectrum, like sort of swirling within the rainbow spectrum that most of us see like in our skies and prisms reflected back in light. So that specific visual was really flowing through. And when I was swimming, I was thinking, well, I wasn't thinking that much. I was feeling this just, oh, and here comes the iguana making more steps. Yeah, so there's something about like, and like every time I turn my head, I feel like it's like a little bit. So there's something about continuing to, you know, the classic, like pour into yourself, presence, doing your best to continue coming back to that. And if you're already doing that, you can just take this as validation. And it's like things are moving, even if it doesn't feel like it. And I feel like I say that a lot, but as I was swimming, I feel like I talked about this before, like maybe like 6 months ago, but it's coming up again. For some reason, swimming to me just feels like I can be very in my head. And like when I swim, you know, a lot of people say this about running. And yeah, I do enjoy like a sprint here and there. But there's something for me about swimming that I just really feel, as I said, the iguana is literally like vertical. Almost looks like it's doing a handstand against a wall. So inversions could be helpful. Yeah, like whether you're in a pool or not, if you're able to do that, of course. But there's also like the hangman energy of like getting a new perspective, maybe seeing 12-12, 10-10, feeling like you just ended a cycle. And there's still that little like remnants in between. The energy's been coming through a lot. And this oh, excuse me. Throat releasing and heart opening. I'm recording this today after the pink Libra full moon. So oh my god. Excuse me. And I just went into some of that energy on the Patreon overflow. But essentially, this heart opening expansion has like filtering in the last couple of days, and I've been feeling it physically, mentally, emotionally. And like I said, I do go into more detail on the liquid crystal transmission overflow, and in my overflow love frequency. So if you want to go deeper with that, there's some of that there, as well as like some of the Keylontic higher ascension mechanics perspective. Seeing like a blue rainbow, so like different shades of blue and green, so like aquamarine, teal. I'm also seeing like amethyst. Yeah, and then again that pearlescent presence and white golden weaving. So there's something really prominent right now that feels like it's percolating, if you will. Excuse me. Yeah, again, I'm seeing like the lizards and fish are coming through. And there's something about like, if you try to hold the fish, they're very slippery. It'll like slip through your hands. But if they just like let their natural swimming flow with the current, then they sort of just do that, So there's something about that, like not trying to hold on to something too tightly, or it's like feels like it's slipping away, or maybe that's something that you're actually releasing, that feeling of like needing to hold on to things so tightly and have that like mindset that things are always like slipping through your hands kind of thing. Or if it's not you, there could be someone that you're connected to that is sort of purging that out. And there could be like one dynamic where there's like sort of like the two opposite coins, if you will. Like one person may like shut down and go cold, and the other person may go into like overdrive of trying to give type of thing, and so this rebalancing in that seems to be pretty present. I'm seeing a keychain for some reason. It could be symbolic. I've been seeing different light codes coming off of the sun. Maybe seeing like 808, 666, the Lover's archetype in tarot could be relevant here, and 9 of Pentacles I'm seeing. So it feels like there's like a call for individual, 9 of Pentacles is like self-sufficiency, independence, the material world, your material world. So there's something, whether or not you're physically with someone, like also still now I'm seeing like 8 of Pentacles, like working on this 9 of Pentacles individually, and then I'm also seeing the 3 of Pentacles that coming together. So it's really like balancing that, like maybe there's something where you're lots of Pentacle energy, so grounding, material world. So it does feel like things are coming into fruition. And again, if you're already in that sort of space and you're feeling that pull to sort of pour back into yourself, like of course it's not permanent, and it's just so you can show up not in a resentful way, of course it's your choice, you can do whatever you would like. That's just energy that's coming through. I'm also seeing numbers like 0101, like mirroring numbers as well, like 1881. Excuse me. Oh my god, the throat. Some of you maybe have just gotten over like some sort of like head cold or chest cold, or someone who is, or you're just getting over that. There's something about that. Cellular release, repair. You could be called to listen to like cellular regeneration, frequency music, binaural beats, things like this. Ooh, hear all these boats? I just hear boats, boats, boats. That's from How I Met Your Mother. So many of those references coming through. Her name in that, the girl who said that, was Becky. So any of those initials or name could be coming up. Or have some sort of something. Of course, then I think of Full House. Yeah, this felt like maybe a little bit of a shorter check-in. I am going to do an overflow. Now there's like a plane overhead. Yeah. I'm actually not being called to say anything about that. I mean, like, obviously planes represent travel, right? So that could be significant, but yeah, I'm being called to leave it here and just go into the overflow. And I don't have anything planned. I'm just going to sort of tune in and see what wants to come through. All right, well, thank you. Oh, and the codes that I'm seeing right now, the color spectrums are very like yellowy orange, almost like a melon. So like fruits like of that type of like cantaloupe, guava, I don't know, that's coming through for some reason. Yellow and blue, like electric blue. Oh yeah, I was seeing an oracle card in my mind's eye, lots of animals the other day or yesterday, from one of the animal oracle decks, I believe from Colette Baron Reed, I think that's her name. It was like electric eel, bring your ideas to life. So there is something about continuing to, or starting wherever you are, allow that natural unfolding of ideas that are coming through, because sometimes, you know, we get so many ideas, especially the collective I'm tuned into. It seems like lots of ideas, and it may be harder to ground those ideas. But there's something about like the complement of this other either aspect of you, this other person, or both, that's being rebalanced to ground some of these ideas. I don't know if you just heard that, but people are like screaming on a boat. Yeah, so maybe some of you are like starting to gain a little bit more of like attraction or a following or just more support. Like that feels like it's coming in, or it's already starting to show up. Okay, thank you.